everyone. I am so excited today to get to introduce to you a very special person. Today I get to talk to Dr. Jon Toftoy, who is going to be the newest addition to our practitioner team at Valeo. So, Dr. Jon, do you prefer Dr. Jon or Dr. Toftoy?
Dr. Jon's great. Yeah,
Awesome.
Dr. Jon works great.
Well, we are so excited to get to know you a little bit better today. So first of all, welcome to Valeo. We're so excited to have you.
Yep, thank you very much. I'm super excited myself.
I see that you've got some special guests on your side too.
That's right, working from home, so getting a little help from our daughters. This is Freya, and that's Alette, and my wife Brooke. Wanted to say hi.
Hi.
So these guys joined our family in July, and we couldn't be more excited. We got two boys, Tor's in first grade, and Hawken is doing some preschool right now. So it's a lot of girls in the house right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're a little bit outnumbered at the moment, huh?
That's right.
Oh my gosh, they are just absolutely adorable. And I have to ask, just as someone, especially who doesn't have kids, how do you tell them apart? Are they starting to look pretty individual at this point?
It's a good question. You know, now I can, she's got a little boogie going on.
She does.
She's pretty happy about it. Alette has a little kind of A shape in her ear. It's like a crease, but it's pretty prominent. And Freya has mole on her tummy. And that's pretty much the best way to tell them apart.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're just a casual observer, they are very similar. However, if it's not the middle of the night, I can usually tell them apart just by their face. Yeah.
They wear different pajamas at night so that we can tell them apart.
Oh, that's probably good when it's the middle of the night and you're really tired and just things are not necessarily firing the quickest. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's so great. I'm so glad that they're here so that we got to meet them. Getting to know a little bit more about you too, like what kind of impact would you say chiropractic has had on your family?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't know, Brooke, you want to take that one?
Well, Jon actually introduced me to chiropractic. I'd never really even heard of it growing up. And so when, I guess it was before we got married, I was like, okay, I'll check it out, because he was about to do chiropractic school, and we were very serious together. And he's like, you know, this is probably an important thing for you to be on board with when we get married, you know. So I started going to different chiropractors to just understand what it was. And it was really neat, because it just aligns so much with, I'm in ministry, or I've been in ministry. That's been my career. And so to see how beautifully chiropractic lines up with our faith and the way God created us was just, it like kind of blew my mind. And so I got on board with it right away, and I was like, okay, yes, you need to do this. This is awesome. And so it's been a big part of, you know, our pregnancies and our, you know, our kids' lives, and just healing different ailments that I've had. And it made me so much healthier in like my running, and I never got an injury again actually after I started chiropractic, and I always had some injury from running. So yeah, that's great to know. First of all, I love that he told you, hey, you might want to check this out and make sure you're on board, like starting off that, well, like transitioning into marriage on the same page. That's obviously huge and super important. And like you said, I do love that chiropractic really aligns with that Christian belief of just how God created the body to function. So that's awesome. What kind of differences do you think it's had on your kids, kind of raising them in this chiropractic household?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we do things as naturally as possible. So, you know, just in terms of diet stuff for the kids, activities for the kids, balance, and then obviously regular adjustments. And just kind of teaching them, that's our focus, that's our healthcare model, versus sometimes struggling against, you know, what's the norm, that sort of thing. So I feel like we're giving our kids the best head start that we can, and we love sharing that with other families too. So.
Yeah, well, awesome. And I'm very curious to know then too, and I'm sure our patients are as well. You know, sounds like Brooke, you weren't super familiar with chiropractic before Jon decided he was going to go into it. But Jon, what's your past experience with chiropractic? What led you into this field?
Sure. So I grew up going to a chiropractor. That was our primary care physician. I had two brothers. We spent a lot of time in and out of the emergency room, sports injuries and silly accidents. And then the chiropractor kind of kept us going, and it was a priority for my parents. And so I've always had that as a influence on my life. And then when I decided to make a career change, I thought, what are the gifts that God's given me? And then two, what's something I could do every day where I felt like I was using those gifts? And it was my growing up going to the chiropractor. Yeah. That I felt like I could do that for other people, what my doctor was able to do for me. So.
Yeah, sounds like he definitely made an impact in your life and kept you as healthy as possible during those very active years. So tell me a little bit more about your practice so far. Like, tell me more about the patients that you've worked with and what patients you really enjoy working with.
Sure. So when I was in chiropractic school, and I went back to school after working in business for a few years after college, I got into racing bicycles. So I saw the, Tour de France, think the Tour de France, Lance Armstrong. And it's a process of beginning to ride bikes and then getting better and doing races and upgrading different points. And I dove all in. And so that was my focus, was working with these athletes, triathletes, cyclists, runners. Okay. People who wanted to be faster, better, accomplish a goal, do a race. And I started my practice essentially just working with the people that I had connections with there. And then that transitioned into younger athletes, golfers, baseball players, basketball players, looking for, our body is infinitely complex, but there's only a few things that go wrong with it. And so when you see those patterns and you're able to help address them, then you're able to help people. Once you see the mechanism of the overuse or the injury, you know how to correct it and you can increase the performance. So that was something that I've always focused on and kind of specialized in.
Okay, so
and
definitely.
Now that we have kids, I'm kind of becoming the kid doctor, and really enjoying that, kind of easing stress that parents have when there's something going on with their kids. So
yeah, can you talk a little bit more about easing that stress? I'm sure probably our patients who are parents, they totally get what you're talking about right away, but just in case, like, what kind of stresses can you ease for those parents by caring for their kids with chiropractic?
Yeah, sure. So what we like doing, and I might wish you best of luck. Yeah.
All right. Look at you. You're handling everything like a pro. Yep. 2 months in and you got it. 3 months, 2 months?
Yep, 2 months in.
Thanks for joining us, Brooke.
No problem. I recommend having them 2 at a time. That's the way to do it. Yeah, 3
I'm
would
sure
be
Dr. Aaron could also say whether he recommends that or not. I always thought that was so interesting as I learned more about you. Like, both you and Dr. Aaron have twin girls.
Twin girls, right? So, exactly. He's been through it before, so I feel like I've got a good mentor for some advice.
Right? Another great reason to join the team.
Not doing it alone. Exactly. That was a selfish motivation for sure.
Yeah, so.
I lost it. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing that I do is give people a second opinion or a peace of mind, even more so than, this magic adjustment and now they're all better, is here's what's going on. What should I be doing about it? I don't recommend going on Google, but that's what people do. And so then you go on Google and you get scared because it's usually the worst case scenario. And it's almost always not that. It's the most common thing. But as a parent, we're not able to process that or think that. So just being an objective observer and saying, hey, this is what I've seen. This is what I think it is. Let's try this. And in 2 weeks, we'll know if we need to do something different or not. And just taking away, even you guys know that when you tell someone a problem, you feel better because now all of a sudden someone else has to deal with it. So I love taking that on and just hearing what you're concerned about and trying to let you know that you're not in it alone, that sort of thing. We'll figure it out together. So, and usually the cool thing about our bodies, especially when they're younger, they're resilient and they heal really quickly. A lot of times it's just a little tweak or something that we might have forgotten or we need to add. So usually it's not the worst case scenario.
Right. Well, that's awesome. So it sounds like you really have good experience and enjoy working with athletes, kids, families. Like that's really your focus.
Right. Yep. Those are the things that are easy to me because that's what I'm interested in. So then, you
Mm-hmm.
know, whether it's just because that's the phase I'm in, or that's something that I'm gifted at. Those are the things that are easy for me to work with because that's who we are. That's our family.
Yeah. And you shared a little, I don't even know if you meant for it to kind of be a slogan, but in my mind, it stuck out as just a really great, simple way of explaining um, what you do and kind of your passion. I think what you said was that you work with people to help their bodies work better, or something along
Right.
those lines, where I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, that's definitely super fitting for athletes. That's super fitting for, kids and families, because especially as kids, like you were saying, it's great to start them off on that right track, because maintaining that is going to be much easier than, say, introducing them to chiropractic at, an older age, which again, like, people should absolutely
Mhm.
start chiropractic if they haven't yet, but starting them
Right.
at that young age really gives you that benefit and that head start.
For sure. Yep. And it's always easier to prevent something than to come back from it. And a lot of times that's what we are. We're an inexpensive primary care physician where when I get to know your kids, your family, your situation, or you, then we see changes and we're able to address those in a month or 2 months versus, hey, 5 years down the road, all of a sudden
Right.
now I've got this problem. When did that start? So that's really what I recommend. Why people ask, should I come in? Nothing's really bothering me. It's, yeah, just let me be part of the health team. Let Valeo be
Mm-hmm.
part of the health team. And then
Yeah.
again, it's part of that, okay, I'm covered there. It's letting someone else be involved with your life. But yep, it definitely is easier when we're more familiar with it, for sure.
Yeah. And so I, of course, have a little bit of background knowledge since I've gotten to talk to you a couple of times already. But one of the things that I thought was so awesome was just some of the types of athletes you worked with. I think you had mentioned at some point that you worked with someone who went on to the Olympics, right?
Yep, for sure. So a triathlete, actually, I was on cycling team. I raced all around the country and did some international races. So developed a lot of connections there. And one of my friend's wife is an Olympic triathlete, won the gold in Rio. And I was able to help her with some chronic stuff while she was training, doing some races. So yeah, you get to be with, all kinds. The grandparent that just wants to be able to be active
Mm-hmm.
with their grandkids, or this person that wants to qualify for the Ironman in Kona, something that most
Yeah.
people they don't even know what that is. And so it's the just finding out, again, like you mentioned, making your body, being able to use your body the way you want. And so it's finding out
Mm-hmm.
what is that goal. And even if it seems out of reach, figuring out the small steps to get you there. And chiropractic might not seem like the necessity, but it's just one tool that helps your body um, work to achieve those health goals for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm very excited to have you on the team. Like,
Mhm.
I might be a little bit biased, but I do some pretty intense workouts too. So now I'm like, man, there's this chiropractor who has literally worked with an Olympian,
Yeah,
and I doubt I'm doing nearly as much as them.
yeah,
So it'll be good to be able to pop in and talk to you
for
every once
sure.
in a while.
For sure. We'll get
Um,
you, yeah, we'll get you tuned up, elite level workouts.
Perfect. I'm gonna go back to the gym and everyone's gonna be like, whoa, what happened? How can you do all this? So anyway, I also wanted to ask you, um, what would you say, and this might be a difficult question, but what would you say sets you apart from other chiropractors?
Sure. Yeah, that is a difficult question. It's hard to say. I guess I have what other people have said about me, so then I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel as braggadocious. I
Braggadocious,
feel
that's a good one.
God gives different people different gifts, and I do feel I have a gift of healing. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not some magical touch or, uh, even though a touch can be just praying for someone, you know, we trust the Lord can heal anything, is using me to be able to figure out, you know, what you need to do to get where you want to go, and have been successful doing that. So it's not complex problems. It's not endurance training. It's just being aware and being in tune with people's bodies, being able to understand what individually they need. So not just, hey, this is what we do for everyone. Get on the program. It's more personalized care, kind of getting to know your whole life, and then what we're trying to accomplish, and then figuring out how to get there as quick as we can. Yeah,
that's awesome. And that totally aligns with Valeo. So again, this is a great fit, and we're super excited to have you joining the team. And so actually that leads me perfectly into one of my last questions here is, what are you looking forward to most about working at Valeo?
Yep, sure. You know, I think just being able to be myself, and that's when we perform the best. So I have been in different clinical settings and treated in different ways. And I've always felt through our conversations and the process coming on board here that I didn't have to change. That, hey, this is who I am. This is how I do it. I don't have to do it exactly like it's been done before, but you want me to treat patients the way that I do because you see the benefit there. And so being able to pray for patients, being able to suggest different things, or maybe go see how they're doing this sports activity so I can see how better it works, or asking you guys to take videos of your son while they're hitting, just so I can see different things that maybe someone else hasn't seen. So I'm looking forward to just the freedom to be myself and let my patients see that. It is exciting.
Yeah, I think the patients will love getting to know your authentic self too. I mean, I think that's really an important thing, to be able to be our authentic selves in our workplace, with our family, with our friends, like just to really be who God created us to be, and to use those gifts that God has given us. Like that's huge. So I'm so happy to hear that that really excites you about Valeo. So just to wrap up, I did want to let people know that you will be starting to see patients starting October 1st.
Right.
So yep, we've got everything ready for our office to schedule those appointments with you. So if anyone is interested in meeting Dr. Jon and getting some chiropractic care, feel free, give us a call. The number is 952-949-0676. It's always interesting working from home these days. I got to really make sure I'm giving the office number and not my cell phone number, right? So again, 952-949-0676. And then, Jon, is there anything else that you wanted to say today before we wrap things up?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I am. I'm just excited. If you're curious about chiropractic, or know someone, or have a family member, or a young athlete, or a newborn that you're concerned, just come in. There's no obligation. I think we're going to make it real easy for you to get set up, at least to see me the first time. October 1st is Thursday. I know I'm going to be working Friday mornings, and then being available the rest of the week. Different sports seasons coming up. We do sports physicals for high school kids. Really, I think it'll be exciting. Even if you haven't been in for a while, come see the new space. We're going to be doing some improvements around the office, which is exciting. And starting the new year off, especially with all the cylinders firing. So excited to meet you guys, existing patients, and excited for you guys to meet my patients. And hopefully the Vallejo community can continue to grow and thrive. So.
Yes, thank you so much for that. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. Feel free, if you're in the office, even if you're seeing Dr. Aaron, Dr. Ryan, myself, Michelle, Leah, feel free to pop in, see if Dr. Jon is around, and if he is, say hi. I know that he would love so much to meet you guys. So thank you again, Dr. Jon, for taking the time to talk
Elizabeth.
To us, and we can't wait to meet you in person.
Yep, it'll be great. Thanks, Elizabeth. We'll see you.
All right, thanks.
Yep.